Episode 176 of the Wilderness Podcast is brought to you by our supporters. But you already knew that, didn't you? So if you want to support the show, you can go to patreon.com/thewilderness-podcast. That's one way of doing it. And I want to welcome Mason S., Atomic Todd, Matteo Was, and Szechuan to the Patreon club. And, of course, every one of our episodes are dedicated to our supporters, but specifically, I want to dedicate this episode to Mr. or Mrs. Green Paper. And, of course, I also want to dedicate it to our top-tier supporters, Genton New, Grunkle G, Spleemo, Aldo P, Matteo Was, and Szechuan. Thank you so much for all the support. It means so much to me, and it really helps out a lot. But hey, you don't have to just stick to Patreon. You can also go to buymeacoffee.com if coffee is more your thing. So thank you, Timbuktu25, God of Thunder, Salamander, and Caradoc for keeping me caffeinated this week. It's getting really hot out there, but that doesn't mean I can't just stop drinking coffee. We're moving over to iced coffee, apparently, it's got a lot of sugar in it, but damn, are they delicious. All right, we'll keep the rambling short. We'll revisit this when we take a stroll over to the Grand Exchange later on. So let's get into this episode. Welcome to episode 176 of the Wilderness Podcast. I am your host, Dills, and joining with me today is both Magpies and Heartless. How's it going, fellas?
What's good, guys? How's it going?
Hey, doing well.
It's all good on my end. So we got, it's kind of a big week. We had Clans launch this week. It's a pretty big ordeal. It's kind of all the rage. If you watch the live stream, they did a huge showcase of the clan system, and you can come advertise your clan and stuff. Whatever. Point is, it was a big release. We got Theater of Blood hard mode coming out next week. I don't know about you guys, but I was super surprised to hear that they're coming out with this so soon. Yeah, it's pretty quick. We just talked about it. And of course, this is part 8 of a 50-part segment where we talk about the range equipment rebalance that they have planned. So we're going to talk about that again. I guess before we start off, what have you guys been up to? I guess we'll start with Magpies.
I've been good. I start work for my summer job next week, officially full-time. Other than that, trying to recover. Still have some health issues, but I'm feeling much better. I've been told by my doctor I can't do full exercise yet, which sucks because I like going to the gym. I like playing pickup basketball. That's my safe space. I don't know if I talked about it last time I was on, but yeah, it's been, other than that, pretty good. It's frustrating not being able to do something I enjoy, but I'm thankful for the most part to be back on.
Man, I totally feel you there. I've been on this weight loss journey for on and off for a while, but I always get dedicated to it where I go hard and I have this whole strict plan planned out. Anyways, I ended up fucking up my back. I feel like I do it 4 times a year. I think I have a herniated disc, so I have to go get that looked at. But anyways, I can't do anything. I have to just sit, and I can barely move, and it's super painful, but I can't work out either.
Damn.
I gotta stick to gaming. Anything else worth mentioning that you got going on?
Let's see. Let's talk about in-game. I haven't even started with that. I've been playing a lot of Skyrim recently. I've been playing some Battlefield 4. I started playing GTA 4 as well. I've been trying to go through my backlog.
GTA 4. That's the one with Roman. And
yeah, cousin. Let's go bowling. Yeah, that one. And then in old school, I haven't been playing much. I've been trying to keep to a healthy pace. Let's put it that way. So an hour every couple of days or so. Just because when you talk about playing old school, if someone plays old school, generally they play it's an entire side job for them, right? When you say, what games do you play? If I say, I play Skyrim, you'd imagine I play every couple of days, or I play an hour a day or something, But with old school RuneScape, it's you play 6 or 7 hours a day, something crazy like that. So I've been trying to enjoy it in moderation. Obviously, I haven't had much time over the past year to play it, but I got on for the clan update. I remember we were just messing around. I started doing some AFK bank standing skills in the bank at the clan hall thing on World 386. So I think what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna like AFK bank stand for a bit every time I'm just like winding down for bed or something and just like chill there if people want to join me. I'll probably be working on like a bunch of bank standing skills. I gained like a shit ton of cooking experience in like the 15-20 minutes I was there just making wines, which is good. I wish it was more for like a bank, like a skilling area that like incentivizes you skilling in the clan hall, but I guess you don't want bots to have like a private place to do their thing, right?
Yeah, I think it's strange. They have a furnace, or not a furnace. They have a range so you can cook stuff.
Yeah,
it's not like efficient or anything, but yeah, I think that's about it. Because I know, like for me, I think I have crafting. That's the only crafting and herbal are the only like bank standing skills I still have left. It'd be nice to do some like smithing and some other stuff in there, but I don't know. Maybe we'll get there.
Yeah, I guess you could do like superheat item or something. I don't even know if that's like even a thing, but what about you, Heartless? How's it been for you? You've been awfully quiet so far.
Yeah, no, it's been good. I had a crazy week, both in game and out of game. So I'll start out of game because that's what happened first. So last week it was Friday night, and I was gonna run some theater with the boys, so Poplo and then Stompy, who's like an ultimate Iron Man in our clan. And then one of his ultimate friends. So it's kind of been fun running with the ultimate Iron Man. They definitely have some like interesting strategies for sure. He's always struggling for food. Uses cheesy potatoes at Theater of Blood, which is, not something I would ever think I'd have to do.
Take 30 minutes to bank and shit.
Yeah, so we were having a good time, and I think we're on like our third raid or something. I went to grab a glass of water, and I put it down my desk, and then I went to say goodnight to my girlfriend. So I ran back to my desk, forgot that the glass of water was there, and I have to reach underneath my mic to get to my mouse. And as I did so, I swept the leg on the glass, and the glass went all over the side of my desk and cascaded down the side and went right into my tower, which sits like just slightly outside of my desk, which obviously was a mistake.
No.
Yeah. And then it hit the fan, and the fan sprayed the water everywhere, and it was soaked like to the bone. And I was panicking. So I ran, my screen shorted. It was still on, and I ran to the kitchen to like grab towels so I could clean it. And then I came back, shut it off, cleaned it. And yeah, it was bad news bears. So I took it into
get the rice. We need the rice.
I mean, the rice was not going to save this. So I took it to the shop. Like there's a tech shop in town. I was like, will you guys be able to test my parts just to see what survived? I had a bit of a spill. So they tested everything. And the only thing that died was my motherboard, which is like one of the cheapest parts to replace.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, that's good then.
Yeah.
I don't know much about computers, but
I don't either. I know enough basics, but the GPU is the most expensive piece, and right now they're like really crazy because of data mining and
true.
Coronavirus and blocking up all the trade routes and stuff. So there's a lot of reasons why they're expensive, but thankfully mine survived, so we're in good shape.
Yeah, wow, silver lining.
And I picked up a couple upgrades while I was there too. I grabbed a new SSD and grabbed a new motherboard, so it was reasonably priced, so I was hyped. So I got it back yesterday. So in the week I was busy with work, but when I did get to play on my laptop, I just did some fishing because I'm working on that 91. And then
what fishing level are you by chance?
88, I think.
Okay, I'm 88 too. I'm working on 91. It's been 6 months,
so
I'm looking for motivation.
I'm hoping I have the Kandarin one, like to the Barbarian Assault, but that's not too hard. So I'm just have to finish the fishing. So I kind of just did it on mobile and stuff. Okay, and then last night,
Carlos, you're doing barbarian fishing.
Yeah.
Magpies. Which is your method?
I do barb fishing at the Chambers of Zarek though.
Okay, yeah.
Because it's like super close to the bank. But then I've tried to start doing temporos.
It's pretty fun.
True.
I unfortunately don't have a dragon harpoon, or else I probably would send temporos. Anyways, so then last night rolls around and I had some time to game with the new machine, so hopped on, decided to go to Corp, and my second kill, I got an Ellie.
No.
Oh my god!
I got an Elijah.
No way!
Yeah. Did you not know this?
I didn't know this at all.
Yeah,
I've been totally living under a rock.
I got an Elijah sigil last night. Yeah.
Yeah, I saw your
Whoa.
picture. But you don't have any of the other pieces that you need for
I
it,
have
right?
the shield, which is pretty.
Okay.
So those of you who don't know what it is, Corp drops 3 sigils. So 2 of them are one in like 13 or 1400. So that's the spectral and the arcane. And the Ellie is one in 4.5k, the Elysian, and it's or like 4.1. Just not an item you would ever expect to have on an Iron Man, or like possibly even grind for unless you're insane. I just got
That
it.
is insane.
Got it just spoon
that's
fed
crazy.
at 181 KC. So just
That's so
I
sick.
actually lost my mind when I got it. I couldn't believe it. I was like shaking, and yeah, it was crazy.
Oh man.
So I got the shield and I got the sigil. So now I just need to get a holy elixir.
Damn, congrats, dude. Did it like, were you in call with anybody? Did anybody,
I
like,
was not.
catch recording?
I was freaking out, and then I saw Raichu and Uncle Kratos were in Discord, so I hopped in with them, and they thought I'd broken my computer again. Because I was like, no, losing my mind. Yeah, I was like in complete shock. It's one of
That's
the
amazing.
holy trinity of items, being like the T-bow, the scythe, and the Ellie.
True.
I think
yeah.
it's part of that. Those are like the sort of big end game items, and
Yeah.
I would say it was definitely the least useful of the 3, because shields and defense are generally pretty bad in RuneScape, but it is very overpowered where it is good. So it's going to be really sick to have in a huge
Best in
flex.
soft
That's
fashion scape.
Best in
I've always
fashion.
said.
I don't think there are many. Like, you turn your head when you see a main that has an Ellie, let alone an Iron. I really don't think there are many. Maybe like a couple, maybe like 150 at most irons that have Ellies.
So,
Yeah, that's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
do you want to go over like why the Ellie, like what the Ellie does? In case...
Yeah, absolutely. So, I don't know if these numbers are correct, but it has a 70% chance to reduce 25% of incoming damage. That's its special effect, on top of being a reasonably tanky shield itself. So the overall effect is that you take 17.5% less damage from all incoming sources over like a prolonged period of time. That would be the average. So if you're anywhere like Arma, Inferno, Bandos range, basically anywhere you would think about using an offhand, even like I'm probably going to bring it to Chambers of, well, I'm definitely going to bring it to Chambers of Xeric. How could you not? Anywhere where you're going to be in a space for a prolonged period of time where you would use Bruise or something to heal up, it's definitely going to be worth bringing. Nice item to have.
Yeah, that's sick. Yeah, it's about 1 bill. Just looking it up,
Yep.
the price
One-
right now on
one
the wiki,
bill.
which is
Doubled my bank.
it's like
yeah.
the one item that like the price is crazy, because I remember when I always remember it being like 400 mil, and over time it's just kept going up in price.
Yeah.
It's like the one item that's like fighting back against the market crashing.
It's just so incredibly rare to get one. Like, it's 1 in 4.1k from a boss that even if you're in a group, you can really only kill like 10 per hour. And it's not exactly exciting content. Like, it's very chill if you're doing it by yourself. My kills were taking probably 13, 14 minutes a piece. So could you imagine actually grinding? I have a friend who has exactly 4,000 KC and has the Ellie, and he's rank 30. So there really can't even be that many people that have one. I would say almost all of them in the game are spooned for irons anyways. Very few deserved
what is
ones.
it? MMORPG. He was grinding for it for like a really long time.
He got it at 6,000, which is just 1.5 times the drop rate. I know Jack RS got it at like 12k, which is like 3 times the drop rate. It's just absurd.
Was your reaction similar to?
It was unreal, dude. Well, you don't expect to get it, right? Like, I was going to get a Blessed Spirit Shield and maybe snipe an Arcane or a Spectral along the way. I just never thought I would get an Ellie.
With that, there's 2 other Spirit Shields. The Arcane Spirit Shield, which is sitting at like 123 mil roughly, and I believe it's just the best magic offhand, right? It gives you a 20 plus magic attack bonus.
Yep.
And then there's the Spectral Shield, which, what is it? It halves prayer drain.
I'll explain that Cole notes. Yeah, Magpies, do you want to take that one?
I was going to leave the floor to you, but I don't mind. Go for it.
I've never actually used one, so why don't you take it away?
Okay. So the Spectral, just like anytime there's an attack that cuts your prayer down, it reduces the amount of prayer you lose by a half. So, for example, at Cerb, it's like most commonly used for Cerberus, because Cerberus has an attack where he summons 3 ghosts, and each ghost, like, you have to pray correctly, but if you pray correctly, they take 30 prayer points away from you. And so essentially you're going to run out of prayer points for sure by the third one. Unless you bring a spectral, which cuts each one in half. So instead of losing 90 prayer points, potentially you're only losing 45. Another place you can bring it in, even though it's like going to be completely useless, is like Chambers of Zarek, when only uses his chat box attack and cuts your prayer in half.
True.
You can actually, if you have one, I'm pretty sure it reduces that by half, so it only cuts your prayer by a quarter. But it's very niche, obviously. There aren't too many attacks in the game that cut your prayer like that.
Barrows.
Yeah, that one's about 60 mil.
If you want to do Barrows with a 60 mil shield. Yeah, that one's definitely the least useful of the three. But yeah, it's nice. It's going to be interesting to see where I use it. Definitely going to get a lot of use out of it for sure.
So now that you've got the Elysian, the Ellie, once you get the Holy Elixir so that you can actually make the shield, are you going to keep killing Corp? Do you grind out the other?
I am
You're done.
Yeah, I'm absolutely done. I have enjoyed it, but obviously I'm a low KC still. I'm like 220 right now or so going for the Elixir. But it's very chill. Like you really just kind of sit there and you can watch shows or do whatever while grinding for one of the big items. Whereas the other kind of big items like the scythe and the bow, if you want to go for those, you really have to be like full paying attention to RuneScape, which you don't always want to do, right? So whenever I knew I said I wasn't going to like grind out a sigil, and that was true, but I was just kind of, if I didn't know what to do, I'd just chip away a corp, couple kills here and there.
May as well, right?
Clearly paid off, so I can't complain.
Pretty fucking sick.
Yeah, pretty sweet.
Hell yeah. What about you, Dills? What has your week shaped up to be like?
What has my week been like? Not a whole lot has been going on. There's a Twitch, was it Twitch Prime or Amazon Prime or Prime Gaming, whatever they want to call it these days. There's some promotion they're doing where you can get 7 days membership. So I had a buddy who started playing the game, and he's like brand new to the game. He didn't play like back when we were kids. He jumped on like 3 years ago with me just because he knew I did a podcast on it, and he was like, I don't get it. I'm going to try it out. So we tried it out. We did some questing together, and he was like, yeah, this kind of sucks. And then he just jumped off. And then 4 years later, this week, he randomly logged back in. So I was like, dude, what are you doing? And he's like, oh, so there was some promo for 7-day memberships. Figured I'd give it a try. And he started kind of going not hard on the game, but he's on like every day doing quests and stuff. And I was like, oh, what the hell is going on here? So I decided to use the promo to get my Iron Man going, because I have just like a regular Iron Man I was playing. I had him parked at Wintertodt for a while, which is where I lost my hardcore Iron Man status. And I said I was going to stay there until I get the Tome of Fire, which I ended up getting at like 87 fire making, which is pretty sweet. And then I just kind of like never played it again. I just like put it down. The bond ran out, and I didn't feel like bonding it back up. But I decided to hop on because me and him are around the same level. So we're doing some quests together. So that's really, I've just been playing on my Iron Man a handful, just doing quests and stuff with them. But it's been really interesting to, like, when I'm talking to him, like his perspective of the game, because he doesn't understand anything, right? He doesn't have any background information on it. So like, he'll have the rune crossbow, but then he'll realize the bone crossbow is a thing, and he's like, I really want that.
Yeah.
And I don't have the heart to say, no, you don't. But I was like, yeah, go for it. There's a quest you can do to beat it, and you get a special attack with it. So his like goals are very interesting. He'll just see a weapon he likes. I'm gonna go grind for it. Yeah, it's just cool to see his perspective of everything and having to explain why things are the way they are. But the crazy thing is, he was on Discord and he was streaming his screen, and I was like following along, and he just looked like a noob. He had like blue D-hide from training range and stuff. He shows me the next day, the dude's got like a 30 mil bank, and I was like, what?
Oh shit!
Where does all this money come from? And he was like, well, there was a drop party that I saw, and I got some money from that. Some dude came up to me and gave me like, he wanted to do Horror of the Deep, and because he wanted a Zamrock. No, he wanted an Armadillo God book.
Yeah.
So he's like, he wanted to defeat it, but he didn't have the prayer level to protect from the boss from it. But he wanted to do it anyways. And I was like, you should probably, it's going to be tough if you don't have the prayer. And he's like, I'll try it anyways. But he must have been talking to some guy at the GE and telling him that he wants to do Horror of the Deep. And the dude hands him like 5,000 dragon bones. He's like, here, go train your prayer. Anyway, so that sort of stuff, I guess, just kept happening. And he has like 30 mil now. And
or he bought a lot of bonds.
That's what I thought at first. And he was like, no, like people just kept giving me shit. He's like, he wanted a cannon really bad. And he must have just told somebody he's trying to get a cannon. And they're like, oh, I have a cannon. You can just have it. You know what I mean? Like people seem to be very generous in this game for whatever reason.
They can be.
I feel like your friend is a sugar baby.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's how it evolved. So he like literally cannons everything. So he has like 10,000 cannonballs and shit. And I was like, dude, what the hell is going on?
Enormous.
Yeah. So I know for some people that'll like ruin the game for them if they just get 30 mil. Cause then you're like, okay, I can just buy whatever it is that I want.
Yeah, it's pretty subjective though, because I feel like it does ruin the game for certain people, but for others, that's like they really don't like the beginning of the game and like how slow things are. So a little bit of money to boost them to sort of slightly better gear is what they like. And I know people in this CC that feel both ways.
Yeah. Because for him, I was like telling him like, do you feel like, I was wondering, like, does that feel like you've like ruined the game? But for him, he'll have access to all these new pieces of armor that he's like, well, I really want to wear Torags. So now I can buy it, but now I have to grind the levels for it. So for him, it's like, it's almost like a fishing rod with like a carrot at the end.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like that piece of armor, it's like motivation to grind his stats up. Whereas beforehand, he would never even know that piece of armor exists. And he'd just be like, whatever.
Such a fine line, right? Because this is a game where you can put in as much time as as you want, or you can in most cases. So when noobs are like, "Oh, I just want to get the best armor right away," it's like, well, it doesn't really work like that, son. You got to work your way up. Like, oh, I really want to be rich and have a twisted bow. I'm like, well, you're probably gonna have to play for a couple of years before you can even think about that.
Yeah. This game is such a marathon.
It really is.
Game.
It really is.
And I guess it goes back to your point where like when people or Magpie's your point where like somebody who plays RuneScape, it's like they just play RuneScape usually.
Yeah.
Because I'll do the same thing. I had some new coworkers that started at my job, and they're like, it's just I work for a small company, and the new coworker's like, hey, I'm big into video games, and everyone's like, oh, you'll get along with Dills. He's a big gamer. So then I'm like talking to them like, so what games do you play? And I was like, so I play one game. Either know of it and you think it's like you probably think it's a lame game from when you were a child, or you have no idea what this game is. And am I really into video games, or I think I'm just into this specific game?
Yeah, it's really weird. Like RuneScape has this weird magic about it. Like on the face of it, you try to explain it to people who don't understand the game, and it's really weird. You're like, so this game has really, really old graphics. It's a point and click game. There's no WASD. The engine's God knows how many decades old now. It's probably older than we are. And you just like click random things and you watch the little number, and that number goes up and you feel good. And then you hop on Discord with people and you talk about how the numbers are going up. So like,
it's so true.
Without like,
and the amount of time too, like, oh, I just did this one short course. I remember telling my girlfriend once, sorry, I'll let you back to your point, but she's like, I was like, oh, it only took about 30 hours. She's like, what the fuck? 30 hours? I'm like, just, it sort of gives you a different perspective on what a grind is for sure.
Yeah, it's like a full week-long work project or something, but
it's ruined my perspective on time and how long things take. When someone's like, takes hundreds of hours, and I'm like, is that long? I don't know if that's long anymore.
Yeah, okay, I can do that. Hundreds of hours? Yeah. No big deal.
I don't know, it's just like the magic of the game is hard to express in words. Like they've hit some kind of weird dopamine rush, socializing element, plus like the sense of nostalgia that like keeps people coming back. Which like, I know we're getting super off topic, but makes me wonder like if Jagex is able to actually capture the magic again, like get lightning in a bottle twice, which they've been trying to do for years, all the way back to like Fun Orb. And do you guys remember like that one space mech game that they were trying to develop?
Oh, what were they calling it? It was something
Mechscape, I think.
Placeholder name. Yeah, it was like Mechscape, and I think that turned into like a Transformers MMO.
Yeah,
that ended up getting canceled.
Yeah.
and Jagex got like the licensing for it or something. Yeah, RuneScape's such an interesting game because even when I'm talking to my buddy, he'll be like, "Why is there a level 3 doing agility with me?" And I looked him up, and he's got this crazy high agility level, but he's only level 3, and all of his other stats suck. Well, one, it could be a bot, but I was like, yeah, honestly, people just do weird shit in this game. Like, it's not linear at all.
Mhm.
And then I had to show him like Swampletics, and I was like, here, go watch this series. This guy just like picks a spot in the map, and he's like, I'm just gonna stick to this area, and people just do weird shit like that.
Yeah.
I find the pacing is very dynamic as well. It's not like a game like Skyrim's a good example, where it's like pretty much action all the time. You don't really chill in the game. You know what I mean? Like the most chill time that you'll ever have is walking from like one area in a quest to another. And I find a lot of games are like that. They're always like usually fairly high intensity, but RuneScape is a game where if you don't feel like doing some high intensity gaming, you can just sit back and chill and watch a show and play on the side and still get.
Some people have like no desire to like even raid or anything.
Yeah, exactly.
And they'll have like max stats and everything. They're like, yeah, I don't care for that.
So it can definitely be like very calming as well, which is not something that I would never describe almost any video game like that. Like, League of Legends, never describe that shit as calm. That's for sure.
I don't know, dude. There's a lot of relaxing games out there.
You're right. But usually they're simply mostly just relaxing, right? Not a combination
like Stardew Valley or Animal Crossing.
Yeah, both those games are fantastic, but they're both like always chill. Whereas RuneScape has those peaks and valleys.
Good old we love our RuneScape over here, don't we? I think that's pretty much it as far as like what I've been up to this week. I'm still like RuneCraft on my main. Just bounce around between a bunch of tasks, but nothing super notable. Yeah, I should be 97 runecrafting this month. So in June, so that's something to look forward to, I guess.
Hell yeah.
Oh yeah. So that's about it. So why don't we hop into the news? We got some things to talk about. It's been a big week.
Yeah.
That's what my focus has been. It's been on other things. It's been on the clan system. So let's get into it. Okay, so let's start it off with the big update this week, which is the clan overhaul, the clan rework, the clan system got launched, which is it's got some really cool stuff. I guess first thing is they did what do they call it? The pre-registration for your clans.
Mm-hmm.
So that happened last week. This podcast has been kind of bouncing. The schedule's been all over the place. But anyways, this happened a week before the clan system got released, and I had signed up for it under the title of the clan Wild, and you had to send over some like proof of ownership. So I had to send a picture of like the CC, the clan chat, and I had to show like my name and when did this clan start and stuff like that, and what's the clan about. So I had to mention it's about podcasts and whatnot. Yeah. But they sent it out pre-registrations over 2 days, and I actually didn't think I was gonna get it just because I know there's so many big clans out there that are just like much more well established, and I never really considered the clan chat an actual clan. It was more like just like a community of people that hung out.
Yeah.
And like we did events and stuff, which was really cool. But you look at like other clans, like there's like Hexus that does like interviews to get in their clan into the clan itself.
Yeah, you gotta have like 2 references and shit. Cover letters.
So they have some of the clans that are like much more strict on how you can get in. So I was like always thinking like, okay, the people who are probably running this pre-registration is probably like maybe 10 people, if that are working to send out all these clans, send out these like reserving clan names. And the reason they're doing this is because they didn't want people to snipe, we're going to snipe the Wild clan tag and then we're going to sell it to the Wilderness podcast, or like Oblivion or Hexus, the bigger clans. You could get a bot to snag it the second the clan system opened, and then okay, do you guys want to buy it, or do you just not want that name anymore? Which I saw happened with League of Legends when they came out with their tags.
Yep.
Yeah, I think Carlos mentioned it on a podcast once.
Big mistake.
Yeah, like clans like TSM, which are really big, not clans, but really big esports teams. What do you call
organizations?
Them? Yeah. So those got sniped, and then they have money, and they're like, Well, I guess we'll spend like a couple $100 to get this back. May as well.
It was a little more than that.
Anyways.
But yeah.
Yeah, probably. So Jagex was like, we're going to avoid that by giving some of the bigger clans, we're going to reserve their names.
I guess we just
so I didn't think we were going to get it.
It confirms we're one of the bigger clans then.
Oh, I guess so. So yeah, because I thought like, okay, maybe there's 100, maybe there's a handful of clans they're going to reserve it for. But they did tons. They did a shit ton. So since they did it over 2 days, I was like, okay, we're not going to get it. But then boom, they actually did send me a message and I got invited to a Discord server that had a ton of people in it. And eventually they would just do a shout out being like, all right, you're in group 2. We will be giving you your clan name between like this time. If you're okay with it, just say yes. And then they messaged me on Discord. We met up in game. I met up with Mod Sarni and he gave us the clan Wild. And it was funny. I had to wait for him because there was some issue at the back end. And then he was like, just to confirm, you want the clan like Wild? Or did you want to do like Wild Boys or something? And I was like, Wild? Are we just like saying that? Or are we getting that big? Are we becoming one of the established clans that people know about? No, I didn't actually think that, but I was like, oh, that's really funny that you mentioned that because we kind of meme with that name over the years. But anywho, they ended up handing over the clan title of Wild, which was really cool. I was really pumped for that. And then this week, or holy shit, hold on, I fucking lost track what day it was. Yeah, so this week they did the whole system, and then I was able to invite people to the clan itself, which was awesome. We had a whole bunch of people join. So let's go through what exactly the new clan system is. All right, so first things first, if you go to the Grand Exchange, into the southeast corner, you'll see a portal with a clerk standing outside, and you'll see 2 posting boards. The posting boards is where you can list your clan, and it's also where people could click on it to see what clans have been listed, and they could join the clan. And you're able to list your clan to have certain level restrictions. So if you are like an endgame clan, you could be like, you have to be level 110 to join. So people won't be able to sign up unless they're level 110. But you can also have it like, hey, we're a free-to-play clan, or we're a PVM clan, or we're into PvPing, or into skilling, or an Iron Man clan. Whatever it is, you can kind of list what your interests are, and then people could sign up to it. You can also customize a banner. You can actually customize a like clan logo. So they have like, I don't know, like 16 icons you can choose from. You can pick 2, and they'll be displayed on both a cape and a banner, which was kind of nice. Honestly, there's not really a whole lot of icons. There's like a handful. So if you're looking for something unique, good luck. There's probably another clan out there that has the same thing as you. And there's been a whole whack of bugs to come with that new banner because it's an item you can hold. It's kind of weird. Like if you want to manually recruit somebody, you can do that by equipping the banner, and then it gives you the option to right click recruit someone. But I guess because it's kind of like a different type of weapon, there's been all these issues where you can't teleport when you have it equipped. If you're fletching or doing other activities, you kind of you just go invisible and people can't even click on you. So it's very buggy, but they're aware of it and they're trying to fix it. But if you wanted to start a new clan today, you're going to need a total of 4 other people who are going to be your clan founders. So it could be yourself and then 4 friends or even 4 alts. And once you have them, then you're able to put together the clan. So once you do have your clan created, you can you can kind of customize a bunch of different, you can kind of put together a description. So like you can have a home world for it. I mentioned like the interests. There's a bunch of different titles and ranks you can set. There's almost 300 different icons that you can set as the ranks, but there's a total of 14 ranks within a clan. So you can have things where it's like, I don't know, if someone's into PvP, you could be like, okay, this rank is for PvPers. You'll have to manually give it to people, but there's enough ranks that tons of people are going to find different ways to, I don't know, create their hierarchy, I guess. I don't know how you would want to describe it, but there's a ton to kind of work with.
How to create like a membership structure, basically.
Yeah. And even if you just want like, I don't know, like we have a bingo event. So one idea that we've been talking about is the winning team gets their own rank for being the bingo winners. And then every bingo tournament that that gets refreshed. So you can do stuff like that. A cool part that they added, which was nice to see, is you can actually set different events for your clan. So you can go in and add an event, and you can choose between like bank standing or skilling or bossing or whatever it is. There's tons of different types of events you can do. And then there's a subtype, which would be like very chill, or it's very serious, very competitive. You can really choose like the vibe you're looking for with your event. And then you can really even break it down to the specific activity. So the example they have here is that it's a skilling event and the activity is thieving. You could do the same with bossing. You can choose an actual boss. You'd be like, oh, we're going to do corp or whatever it is. And then you can choose the time that the event starts, how long the event lasts, what ranks are allowed to do it. So you can do an event that's only for like the elite players. Or let's say you're like a end game PVM clan and you have a specific rank for people who are raiders. You could have an event that's like, we're going to do Theater of Blood, but the only people who can participate are people who are of that raider rank. That's, I don't know, one of the top ranks in the clan.
Yeah, we should experiment with this and make like a host event just to like kickstart the clan system.
I did test it out. It wasn't, I just slapped it together and then I didn't really say anything or try to promote it, but I did a bank standing event because I wanted to see what would happen. And if you log in during an event or the day of the event, it'll tell you there's an event starting today or there's an event going right now for the next 24 hours or whatever it is.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird when you want to set what date the event is because you click on the date and it'll be like, how many days from today is the event? So you can't put like, okay, I want the event to start July 1st. No, you have to put, I want the event to start in 30 days. So it's kind of weird, but I'm sure that's engine related.
They probably don't have like a date system built in.
Yeah.
Everything's in like day tracking.
And with that, they came out with the clan halls, which is pretty much like a pretty big pub, I would say. There's a bank in it. There's a piano in it. There's someone you can buy beers off of. And there is a range. Pretty much it. It's cool and it looks pretty nice. But besides just kind of chilling there and hanging out, there's really not a whole lot to do.
Yeah.
It's still a nice touch. And it's cool to go in there and you'll see people bank standing, and like doing like fletching or something. But besides that, there's no customization yet, even though they kind of mentioned having some ideas. Remember they mentioned about the default look being like an elven crystal look or like Theater of Blood style?
Yeah. I think like I remember them talking in a Q&A. And actually RS3 has that, I believe. And like
and they have different styles of castles you can choose from.
Yeah.
They mentioned on a stream that they have a huge wish list of things they would like to do. But yeah, we didn't get any other alternate looks and no real customizations either. So that's a pretty quick run through of the clan system. It's the new clan system, but we still have the friends chat, and you're also able to be a guest in a clan. So this means you can kind of bounce between 3 different chat groups, I guess. So you can still do / and then talk to get to your friends chat, which is what this, the CC. And if you want to talk in the clan, it's 2 slashes or it's /C. And if you want to talk in your guest chat, it's /G or 3 slashes. So yeah, there's honestly, that's a pretty quick run through. I don't think I'm missing anything, but if I am, please feel free to let me to jump in. But what do you guys think? Yeah, I don't know. Magpies, you want to start off? What are your thoughts on the clan system?
I think you like hit all the key points. It's very like, it's a sorely needed update that kind of like brings us into the 21st century of like socializing in an MMO, right? It's like a system that pretty much every MMO has now. So I'm not going to give them like a gold star just because they added something that revolutionized the clan system, because it's like, congratulations, you just caught up to the 21st century, right? With that in mind, it's a good update. Like I can tell, we've already mentioned a couple times where you can see the engine constraints kind of come into play, but I wish it wasn't so bare bones. Like there's no options to customize the clan hall. When it comes to, like, we were sitting there trying to figure out roles, the 3 of us with a bunch of other people in the CC, and you can't like rename the ranks to make it more specific. It's like it just gives you a set of pictures that have like a label, but you can't, mix and match pictures and titles, or you can't like write your own titles for each logo that you want to use for the ranks. So it's kind of constricting in that way. They do give you a lot of options, but at the same time, like there's so much more that could be done. And I'm praying, like, I think I mentioned this last time I was on. I hope it's not like a one and done update where it's like, okay, we updated the clans, like we can move on now. Let's go on to do something else. Like I hope they have some people dedicated to just like making this a 10 out of 10 update, because the foundation's there, right? Like this is a foundational update. On its own, it's not the best, but it's like it lays the foundations for something amazing. So if they do like keep plugging at it, they add customization options, they let you like change the clan hall. For comparison's sake, I like quit RS3 roughly when the clan halls they had came out over there, but those clans were incredible. Like in terms of letting you customize everything, you could build your entire. It was like a POH in terms of the clan hall, so you could build the rooms the way you wanted to, if I remember correctly, and you could like set everything up. So that's what I kind of hope it is. But again, that's my 2 cents.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, the clan system in RS3 is pretty cool. I'm not too well versed in it. I know a lot of people, what they don't like is that in order to maintain your key or your citadel, that's what they call it, the citadel.
Yeah,
is you need to go and actually woodcut in your clan area. You need to do some mining. You got to do some different skilling to maintain it. And they didn't want people to feel like they have to do that. So that's why they made the clan hall just like a default. Everyone gets it. Boom. You don't need to upgrade anything. But
which is, I think some customization is sorely needed in the clan hall. It's a good idea, like Magpie says, foundational. But even just little things like having some kind of item sync in there, or a place where you could, all stick your pets and they could roam around. There's a ton of different things that they could maybe do. A place where you could display your, I don't know, armors, sets.
But like Heartless, what was your what's your thoughts on it, like overall?
Like it's very like doesn't seem like there's much to it. They added an extra channel that is deeply confusing to be if you're in the Wild CC Friends chat, which is basically our old clan, and now you're in the actual Wild clan. So there's like 2 streams of people, but it's all the same people, and people are messaging back and forth in different chats, and it's confusing. Like Magpie and said before, the role thing, like they give you so many options, but also so few options. They gave you like 100 of different emoji basically things to choose from, but they all have preset names. So what's the point? Like you come into a new clan and you have a look around and you're like, oh, this guy's got the skull. Look, he must be a peak hair. Like, no, that's what we chose as our default rank, which is what we would have said if we could change it. Or, oh, look, this guy's got the hammer. They must be, the executioner or something. But no, that's the mod one. So it's really confusing, and we kind of had to pick symbols so it was intuitive. But I think if you're using your intuition in something like the clan system, it's needs a little change to it. I don't know if they're capable of doing that, but that seems like a very basic thing. But
yeah, totally agree.
Besides those 2 things,
it's tricky because there's like
nice.
There's a rank called the cleric, which looks like the health sign.
Yeah, which
is fine. There's the bruiser, which is like a steel axe. A brawler, which is an iron axe. Which like what the hell does that even mean? A barbarian which is like a rune axe.
Yeah, that's right. Like so many choices, but useless.
And sometimes the icons don't really match the symbols. So there's like let's see here. Like there's the range prayer, and it's called artillery. Like what the hell does that mean?
Yeah. After waiting, how long have we waited for this for, by the way? Like 2 years?
About 2 years,
I'm deeply disappointed that this is basically all we got was an extra stream. And raids still runs out of the original chat. Like your friend's chat, it doesn't run out of your clan. Which makes you still have to go on your, no offense, the shitty Wild Space CC account so you can rank people when they're new and they want to raid. So I don't know. There's a lot of things that they need to change to make it better. But at least it's here. We died for group Iron Man sins. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Stupid Iron Man.
There's weird stuff where like, we were talking and like having a rank called like it's called the raider rank, which is basically like, oh, we have a bunch of people who like to raid and like to teach raids. It'd be kind of cool to give the people who teach raids in the clan chat like a little symbol so that people know, okay, this person is not just experienced, but he often teaches people how to raid. And the issue is the rank's called raider. That sounds right. But the symbol it's the quest symbol, but it's purple. So it's the Krend favor symbol.
Yeah.
And at a glance, people are going to be like you don't know what that is until you go to either the wiki or you look at the actual clan to see what does that symbol. What's the name of the symbol?
It's crazy.
I totally didn't realize that because I thought the purple one corresponded to raids, but raids is the brown quest icon.
Yep.
So it doesn't even make sense.
Nope. It's terrible. It's it's the more you think about the clan update, the worse it gets.
Yeah, no, I don't want to be a negative Nancy, but yeah, I think the biggest thing is like that lack of like being able to be self-explanatory to people. Like if I'm just imagining someone coming into a clan for the first time and seeing like 12 different ranks, and then it's like, well, you see the people with the hammer, like Heartless said, like they're actually like melee based PKers or whatever, and like the people with the flower are actually just like skillers, and you're like, okay, I don't understand the system at all. Or maybe it like doesn't even correspond to old school. Maybe it's like a podcast clan, for example, where we're looking for like, oh, someone like hosts a lot of events. Well, what role would you give them that's like self-explanatory to newcomers, right?
It's really annoying that we can't do that. And correct me if I'm wrong, but can you only have 10 ranks in a clan?
It's like 14, 12 to 14.
And 4 of those are the moderator ranks, like the ones who started. So really, you don't have a lot of depth too that you could add. Because like, let's be honest, if you're in a big clan, it'd be nice to have raids like mentor or something, established raider, so that if you're looking to go with other people, they have a little rank. You could have like a skiller rank. You could have, I don't know, you could have all these different ones. And if they were labeled, it'd be so cool because then everyone could see, oh, what's this person into? You have bingo winner. It'd be cool to assign people multiple ranks like you can in Discord. But I don't think that's going to happen. Like if you were in the clan and you hovered over the person's name and it showed like all of their ranks in a little like pop out window, that would be interesting. Yeah. Because I think multiple ranks apply to many people, and it sucks that we also kind of have to choose one.
There's like another weird one that I'm looking at right now. It's a green heart, and the title's epic. Like those two just don't seem like they make sense. You wouldn't look at a green heart and think that like, oh, this guy's an epic player.
There are Fortnite players over here.
Sorry, Heartless, was there anything else that kind of stood out to you?
I think the clan hall is cool. I really do like to put a positive spin on my thoughts. I do like the idea of a place where you can gather with your clan. It's too bad it's world specific because in a multinational clan like us, we have a lot of Europeans, we have a lot of Americans, and North Americans on both coasts. So we play in all different time zones, and to have to be forced to choose one world is, I mean, it's fine, but it sucks to be a European and have to come to like a West Coast world, for example, because you get like 300 ping. So I wish you could go in the, because you can only go in the clan hall in your home world, correct?
Yeah,
I guess so. Yeah.
Yeah. So you wouldn't even want to I wouldn't even want to skill on 300 ping if I was a European. So I just have no reason to come. And I wish you could update it, but I think we could get there. It's nice that we have a space for, sort of just our people.
Isn't there like an instance in the game where the world that you're on doesn't matter? You just get pulled into the same instance no matter what. Isn't it like Soul Wars or something that runs like that? I know there's like a specific part of the game where if you enter the portal or enter the instance,
it's not server specific. Like the instance itself.
That's common in a lot of other MMOs.
Interesting.
That would be amazing if you could do that, so that you go into the clan hall, doesn't matter what world you're in, everyone gets brought to the same world or same instance.
That would be interesting if they could do something like that. Yeah.
That's crazy.
I think there's big potential. And we have some like minimal work that has been done. But yeah, it needs to be better for sure. But they're probably just going to drop Group Iron Man on us and then never touch it again.
That's my worry. There's a lot they could do, and they have a nice wish list. So they've talked about things where you can cut, if you go into the clan hall, you'll see there's armor stands. They just have like, I don't know, not even like in-game armor. It's what you would see if you go to Ardone and you go into like the castles. They talked about it'd be cool to customize it. Maybe you have to donate if you want to donate a bunch of Bando's chest plates, you can put a Bando's chest plate on there. It would work as like an item sync, and it gives you some customization.
Cool to have like boss like KCs, like group KCs. So as a total, our clan has killed 13,000 Vorkath, some kind of thing that makes the clan hall unique, so that you could see.
I think you mentioned that before.
Yeah,
that'd be cool.
There's potential,
or like the pets thing.
Yeah,
like seeing how many pets the clan has.
But if Dills, you say they might be looking into this kind of stuff.
Mod Elena. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing that. Mod Elena, if you're listening, apologize.
I think it's Elena.
No, but Elena. She mentioned like she has like a wish list of things she wants to bring and different ideas that they potentially could. It just they have to work on it. Mod Ash on this week's live stream mentioned stuff like a clan collection log, so you can see what really collectively as a clan what you've guys gotten. Now we have a Elysian Spirit Shield, so stuff like that, right? You can look at it and be like, sweet.
Yeah. Wonder if it's the first one in the CC. Probably not. But it's cool. It'd be so cool to like look through like other people's collection logs. There's so much they could do with it. So I'm hopeful that they follow through with some of this stuff. I'm sure the engine work is tricky though.
Yeah. But I totally agree. Where it was like I was really happy when this came out. I was like, this is sick. This is amazing. We need this. And then I definitely had like, that's it. Like a lot of like moments where like, why do we not have a message of the day when people log in? It says like, hey, happy sun. I don't know, whatever. You could customize a message of the day that people see when they log in. Why don't we have that? Why can't we put our own like customized description to be like, hey, welcome to Wild. We do a podcast too, or join the Discord.
Yeah. It shouldn't be that hard to be able to put in a customizable text box. Like, unless they don't trust their player base to be, reasonable with it. That
could be it. I hope they can do more, and I hope they make it less janky. So, like, if somebody wants to apply to the clan, one, I need to go into the settings and I need to click, like, applications are open. So that needs to happen. And then I need to go to the posting board and I need to manually list the clan. And then people go to the posting board and they can say like, oh, this wild clan is there. I want to join it. But as soon as I log out or world hop, it gets erased. So that's kind of weird. But people can also remotely request to join the clan. But in order to do that, I still need to make sure that applications are open for them just to apply, and then you can accept or decline.
Right.
But it's just really clunky. And the day clans got released, I was like constantly
you're a busy boy
going there to list it, and then I'd be working, and then I would log after 5 minutes, and I would like, fuck, I have to go back and list it again. And anyone who had applied and didn't get accepted, they have to reapply. They're boom, all that got wiped.
Chick and I were talking before too about just like events and stuff. So what we did for the last bingo was we collected, the entry fee, which was 2 mil. And then I would like physically type in a spreadsheet, like, Magpie's paid 2 mil plus this amount of donation. Whereas with the coffer, what you could do, because there's a coffer in the clan hall, you can put money into, and anyone with a specific rank that Dill sets can take out money. So like right now we have like 1 mil in there, but it'd be cool if we could like lock it so that the event planners could only take the money out. And then, for example, everyone could stop by the clan hall, pay their 2 mil donation. And then we can read that, oh, Magpies just dropped by and paid a 2 mil donation. So we know he's ready. He's signed
just
up.
Like a history of who paid how much.
That would be really cool.
Yeah, the history would be nice.
Because currently it tells you who takes out, but it doesn't tell you who puts in. So
so if you put in 1 mil and then take it out, people are like, yo, what are you doing, dude? And it's no, it's my money.
Yeah, like
trust
I
me.
just put it in. So it's a little sketchy. And there's not even a record of who took it out. It's just if you happen to be online at the time. So I'd love to see some kind of log, the collection log of the coffer, if you will. That maybe even if only Dills could access it, that's all you need. So that would be kind of cool too.
All right, I'm gonna do that. Actually, I'm gonna like log in after we finish recording this. I'm just gonna keep putting in and taking out 50 mil, And then until people listen to this episode, they're gonna be like, "What the fuck? This guy just took out like $1 bill's worth."
I do have like
amazing.
600 mil cash on my main because I liquidated it, so I should do that. That's gonna be pretty funny.
Well, but that's another point. Like, there's a 1 mil limit of what the coffer can hold, right?
Really? Is a limit?
Oh, is there?
Yeah. So like right now it's only
That's
1 mil. So if we had an event, yeah. So on the subreddit, when that first came out, I saw people talking about it, and a lot of people were like, well, that's what they're doing to prevent people from real world trading. You know, people could put in 10 mil and then so that's exactly, I was like,
But then if you had a log system, then that wouldn't even be a problem because you could track the accounts.
yeah, so
Yeah.
I was
say
like, that's so dumb.
it seems
two
really
things.
dumb.
First of all, there's nobody out there who real world trades 10 mil. Like, that is such a tiny amount. Like, if I'm thinking of real world trading, I think of like the big stakers, right?
You'd be like, at
Yeah, okay,
least
so like let's say the limit was like 1 bill.
Yeah.
Yeah, 500 mil. But they're worried that like that would be a way to get around it. Now, this is what people in the subreddit were saying. So then I'm like, well, that's stupid. Why would they rework content just because it's not going to prevent people from real world trading? That's still going to happen.
Yeah.
The dual arena still exists. Yeah, they can't
Yeah.
justify that. That's stupid.
So
I
now,
think the anonymity
just
part
to clarify,
would be hard. Yeah,
these are people on Reddit talking about it. These are
true.
they've decided that they're part of the Jagex team.
That's right.
But on this week's live stream, Mod Ash actually said, which actually made a lot of sense because I was kind of like, I was so ready to come on here and be like, oh, let's scream about Jagex. Oh, I'm gonna yell so hard because damn it, they screwed up again. But really, what Mod Ash said was, this is a new system with the clan coffer, and they don't know what bugs are there, and the last thing they want is someone to put 1 bill in there, and then it just gets deleted, and then they have to go like, oh,
I can see
so
that.
it's 1 mil.
That makes sense.
Yeah, so they said it's going to get increased. They just want to make sure, there's no actual issues. So I was like, okay, damn it, Reddit. Like I gotta stay off the subreddit. You guys keep fucking around on me.
They're quick to anger for sure.
I will say though, even like 1 mil, in my opinion, is too conservative. Like 1 mil in today's economy doesn't buy you shit, dude.
It doesn't even.
You gotta have 2 working parents to survive off 1 mil.
Well, my issue too is like, there's in the player, and I've been sending this question in. I used to send it every week to the Q&A, and then it just never got answered, so I just stopped. But
you were just that one asshole sending the same question every week.
Well, I was like, just answer it because I thought it was a fair answer. In the player-owned house, there's a games room you can have with different. They're pretty lame, but there's different games you can kind of have, and if somebody wins, they get money that's in this coffer. It's like it's called the rewards chest. And there's 3 tiers of it. And the final tier allows you to put 2.5k gold as a reward. That's it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, can we get that bigger? Because that'd be cool to have a house party and somebody could actually win 10 mil from the rewards chest without actually having to give it. And then 2,500. What's the point of even having that game? Who's gonna or having that thing? Like,
yeah.
That reminds me of the enormous drop party that some guy did in the CC while you guys were both not on. There was like a Garazi rapier dropped, whips. Like he went to the arena and won big, let's say. So he spent a couple 100 mil on a drop party for the CC. It was pretty fun. One guy had like a 2 mil bank. I can't remember. He had like nothing in his bank, like 5 mil, and he got the rapier, and he was like, "What?" He just inherited 100 mil basically. So it was fun to see some of the young wild CC people out for the drop party.
Wild babies.
The wild babies. That's right.
I mean, and another thing too, you can't even really do a drop party in the clan hall because every time you drop an item and it says, "Are you sure you want to drop it?" Because if you drop it and you disconnect, you'll lose it. And it's so like it takes like 5 seconds to drop something. I mean, it'd be so hard to do an actual drop party.
It's the same in the house though, so because you get the same warning, and then if you disconnected, everyone would be punted from your house, and you'd lose all the items on the ground. So.
True. It gives you the same warning every time you drop an item?
Over a certain amount, you can set it. I do that because I shift drop or shift equip and drop all the time. So I can't imagine like I go like doing Corp and I hit my imbued heart and drop it for some ungodly reason and then teleport to the Corp cave and I lose it. Like it's not gonna get back,
Yeah.
guess the clan system in a nutshell, I think it's a great foundation. There's a few things that I'm like, okay, we should have had it with. You've had 2 years to work on it. I don't know what issues they might have faced, but hopefully we get it. I feel like there's always this worry, and we've brought up before, is that they release an update and they say like, oh, if we need to fix it, we will fix it. Oh, or if we want to fix it, we can fix it. And then we're all like, okay, but will you? Like,
Yeah.
or are you just gonna be satisfied? Okay, they're done complaining about the clan system. Let's move on.
Yeah.
So some cool stuff there. A nice surprise was there's a piano in the clan hall, and you can actually play the piano and everyone can hear you play it. I don't know if you guys had a chance to check it out, but it's kind of cool. Yeah. And it came with a new soundtrack that we got from Mr. Mod Ash himself. I'm gonna play. It's called Rhapsody. It's pretty good if you're into like. You guys hear that?
Yeah.
It's a nice little piano track. So we'll wrap up the clan section with playing this little
Mod Ash
classical
has some
piece.
great tunes, I have to say. Artist of Coil, you can't go wrong with Mod Ash.
Oh, I'm pretty sure anytime you hear a song that's just a piano piece, that's just him like, going ham as like I'm trying to think of like a very famous pianist, but I don't know why I would even try it. I can't think of anyone. So anyways, yeah, the clan system, it's one thing that I love. We're going to quickly move on from this, but I just wanted to mention that I did get excited. I haven't really been a part of a clan in a video game in a long time. Since WoW maybe, but even like playing a game called Mag, which was like an FPS shooter for PS3. I remember getting involved with the clans there, and it gets exciting when you get deep into it. Are you guys big clanners in other online games if you've played them?
None more so than old school, I think.
Yeah.
But definitely, if a game is like very community based, then I'll make an effort to like join a clan or a team, because like you're missing out on the fun if you don't join one.
Yep.
Yeah.
I agree with Magpies, 100%.
Yeah. So one thing that was kind of cool when we were doing the whole signups for the week is you kind of got to see what other clans are in the world 386, and I was like, man, I love the idea of like. There's maybe a handful of clans that 386 is the home world, and you kind of get to know them, and it's kind of like a fun little rivalry of like different clans. That there was a clan called Hardly Iron, which was an Iron Man clan, and they're have about the same number of members that we do. And I was like talking to one of the I guess higher ups, and I don't know, I was like, you know what, it's really cool. I remember when I played WoW, you would be in like a top guild, and you would start noticing all the other top guilds, and you would all be like, you would find like sister clans that you would do events with, or like rivals that you would kind of like, I don't know, if you want to do a clan war, you can set something up with them or something. I don't know, but the whole environment, the atmosphere that comes with clanning is always kind of fun too when it's not toxic.
Yeah, I feel like our Discord was sort of like the hub of our clan, though, like in a way.
Yeah.
Already, like especially people who hang out sort of in the chat, sort of effectively had built a clan through the CC, connecting through the podcast. So I feel like not a lot.
Yeah, Discord's the place to be.
But it's nice to be able to like recruit members that way for sure.
Yeah, and it's cool for like other clans to be like, oh, who are these wild boys and gals? Who are they?
Yeah, you're right. Like, there's not much exposure to other clans unless you happen to talk to someone and they ask, "Hey, do you want to join my clan?" or something. Like, that's basically the only time you'd ever hear of other groups, unless they're big. So
boom, there you have it. The clan system we've all been waiting for, and I hope that it is not the end. But yeah, anyways, we got some more to talk about, so let's move on because we got. I don't know, I've lost count. This is like part 7 of a 50-part series where we talk about the equipment rebalances, but specific, the ranged meta.
Hell yeah, can't wait to talk about this again.
All right, so there is a whole whack of charts and numbers to go through, and I say let's not try to break them down because that's never
I say we Coles notes it for sure. Like
Coles notes it, and so keep that in mind that there's a lot more information. If you want to see all the numbers and charts, if you're into that, go to the website and visit the dev blog, and you'll see all that breakdown. But the first things first is, of course, the toxic blowpipe. This has been a pain in the ass for both us to be like, what are you guys going to do with it? And Jagex to be like, oh my God, what should we do with this? So they did have this survey that went out, and they say 78% of the respondents said that the current range meta is stale. 61% said introducing new range rewards is going to cause power creep, and which is a problem. 75% said the toxic blowpipe is too strong right now. 76% said toxic blowpipe prevents any new items from being entered without being a huge power creep. Basically, they're just saying a lot of people are aware that the blowpipe is a big problem, but how do you fix it without destroying what we all love and making every boss and task harder?
Pretty sure I would argue like almost everyone in the game would agree that it's overpowered, but the 25% that voted no just don't want to lose it. That's my opinion.
Exactly.
So yeah,
and
I understand their reasoning for it.
Yeah. So one idea that they thought we've mentioned it before. So, and again, this is just a proposal. So instead of going through all the numbers and stuff, we'll wait to see what they're actually going to do. And because we've done this like 4 or 5 times already. But they have an idea where they want to rework the actual how strong all the different dart tiers are, and they also have an idea of introducing the amethyst darts, which would fall in between dragon and rune. One problem people have is that dragon darts, which are obviously the best, they're pretty expensive, but they're very hard to get as well. Like you have to grind out, different monsters drop them.
That's an Iron Man only thing, though. That's not for mains.
Yeah, exactly. But it also causes it to be much more expensive as well.
Yep.
I've seen people pitch like, why not make it so that you can turn superior dragon bones into dragon dart tips.
Yeah, sure.
Anyways, that's not being pitched, but they are pitching the amethyst darts, which would fall in between rune and dragon. Another idea is one thing that we've talked about and people feel is that in between the blowpipe and the twisted bow, it's a huge gap, right? The twisted bow is like almost 1 bill. The toxic blowpipe is like 2 mil. And that's only because of how expensive scales are, because you can bring it down. So people have been asking for some sort of item to bring the gap in between the toxic blowpipe and the twisted bow closer. So what they're proposing is buffing the crystal armor and the crystal bow, or making that kind of more useful. But they mention here by doing that, by introducing a brand new tier of crystal bow called the Bow of Ferdinand. Ferdinand. I hate these names.
Yeah.
But they're talking about a new bow that's going to be similar to the Blade of Saildor. It would come from the Gauntlet, and it would be just a stronger version of the crystal bow. It would work with the crystal armor buff, because you get like a damage and accuracy buff when you have full crystal armor on. And it would work as kind of a budget twisted bow.
They mentioned in the blog with the damage charts that it's specifically really good, even better than the twisted bow at places where monsters have high range defense but low magic, because the twisted bow deals its damage through its passive, which is higher your magic level, the more damage it does. So, majors, Jad, stuff like that get just slapped around by the twisted bow, like you're hitting 80s on Mutadile as well. But places where it's low, I'm trying to think of an example. Like Bandos, maybe something that you would be able to slap around a little bit with the new bow, stuff like that. Pretty cool, though.
Very interesting. Yeah, I mean, I like the idea of a new crystal bow.
I don't know if it mentions in the blog, but they're gonna change the Saildor into like some kind of advanced weapon seed, and you'll be able to choose, if you get the drop, whether to turn it into a blade or into a bow.
Oh, that's amazing. I must have missed that part. That's cool. I like that idea.
And then you'll be able to corrupt it so that it can have unlimited ammo, which is sweet. The drop rates have yet to be confirmed, because currently it's 1 in 400 from Corrupted Gauntlet. But we'll see if they lower the drop rate or leave it the same.
Yeah, again, this is a proposal. For all you know, they might come back and be like, never mind, we changed our minds. But it seems pretty cool, and it has had a very positive response. And the last section here is they talk about possibly looking to rework crossbows and ranged offhands to make a crossbow and having a ranged offhand much more competitive when it comes to dealing damage where it is useful. And this would still make the blowpipe the go-to weapon for creatures that have low defense, but it would make it so that there's other weapons that would come in place when you need to hit some monsters that have a high defense. Very cool stuff. What do you guys think? You guys yay or nay on that one? Overall.
Big yay for me.
So I literally kept this closed until now. I didn't want to read it until the blog post. I'm like, it's super overwhelming. It seems like it makes sense, although I will say Jagex is kind of being misleading. Like, they'll switch from using graphs to DPS charts. Sometimes they won't list actual DPS numbers when they're trying to make a point. Like, I'm looking at all these graphs where they have like charts showing Zuck and Sarachnis and everything, and I can see pretty significant DPS changes, but they hide it by stuffing it in a graph with a bunch of lines. So I need to go over it, but it looks like it makes a lot of sense. The one thing is they have mentioned they're going to nerf bosses and stuff. And like we talked about, the bow Ferdinand is going to be a pretty good niche to fill and adds another element to the meta. So it seems like for now I'm on the fence, leaning towards being on board, but I have to actually dive into it a lot more.
Yeah, you gotta crunch some numbers.
I agree. I wish they'd release a little bit of data as well that we could crunch ourselves. Originally, I thought they were going to come at us with a hard blowpipe nerf and then just give us a slightly less intense version of that. But I'm glad they listened to the community and decided to readjust a bunch of things after realizing maybe their original change was too heavy-handed. And this seems to be, if it is what they're saying it is, with the charts and everything, a really good way to sort of fill in the gaps and give us a few maybe alternative methods, and of course leave room for new ranged upgrades in the future. It's overall really good. They're adding a 10 strength bonus to the buckler as well, which is kind of cool.
Stop trying to make the buckler a thing.
Shut up! I've never mentioned it once on the podcast. The buckler is a great item. No,
stop trying to make the thing. It's not
Magpies
a thing.
hates how much I love the buckler. All my friends do.
It's like that Mean Girls quote.
It's the meme about the buckler, but it's actually going to be pretty good now because it'll scale really well with chins. And it's decent if you don't have a twisted bow because it scales well with the Dragonheart crossbow too. Which is they're going to actually nerf the Dragonheart crossbow because of the buckler buff. And then they're giving the ACB a little bit of love too, which is I think kind of always been left out of the meta recently. It's a pretty useless item. Even I very rarely use it, and I don't have a twisted bow.
Here's the problem I have with that is that they're very inconsistent with their motives and or their actual reasoning plus what they're actually trying to achieve. I thought the point of this was because the range meta was super stale and they had no ability to introduce new items. But all of a sudden now they're buffing all the old range weapons to the point where now there's still no room for new items because the hole that the toxic blowpipe nerf creates is just being filled in with all the pre-existing items plus one new range weapon that comes from the old boss and old armor. They're not introducing any new
on board, though, in my opinion.
But then what's going to happen when they want to introduce a new boss with new range rewards?
They're just going to do it, and we're going to get power creep.
So we're just going to have
a
weapon that's going to be better DPS than a blowpipe, which is what people were worried about.
Maybe if they don't introduce a weapon, they introduce armor that gives strength, for example. And then all of a sudden, everything just becomes a bit more powerful across the board.
But that's just going to give us a blowpipe.
I realize that, but I feel like that was always going to happen, no matter what they do. Do they have any outs like Magpies? What would you do? Just gut it all and not do anything?
Well, no. I mean, I've been on this podcast for ages talking about it's a super simple fix for me. Just take out the blowpipe spec. That's a very strong special attack for the strongest weapon in the game.
It is absurd that it has it. Do you think that would fix the problem, though?
Well, it would certainly be a very significant first step. And then beyond that, if you still have a hole to fill when it comes to new range weapons that you can't find a meta for, not necessarily a metaphor, but that's when you start to look at the way like monster defense works in the game, instead of just having like blanket statements about DPS. Does that make sense? Like, instead of just saying, okay, this is the blowpipe's DPS, now this is what we want a new weapon to achieve, like, make it so that new content is, needs a one-handed shield and a one-handed range weapon, for example, and then you can provide a new best in slot crossbow like that.
Mhm.
Or, I mean, buffing the odium wards and the range shield was always an option. And I'm not a fan of like niche weapons like the Dragon Hunter crossbow. There's something different between a niche weapon and like a specialized weapon. Like, so for example, a twisted bow is a special weapon because like it's absolute garbage, except if a monster has really high mage defense or mage levels. And the scythe is garbage unless a monster is big enough to be hit by the scythe 3 times and has really low defense.
But
right,
most bosses have both those boxes checked, or at least one of them.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but that's not a fault of the blowpipe. That's
No,
like a fault of the boss design.
Which is what they've complained about in the past as well. But boss design,
Yeah.
they, like you said, they'd have to like retroactively go back and adjust all the content.
Yeah, and I feel like a big problem as well is like the game is very DPS heavy. Like, there's no such thing as a tank in the game. There's no.
Yeah.
That's
Like-
I'm sure they're gonna play with that in the future though, and I hope so because I have the Ellie now. But you know
Yeah.
you know what I mean though. I think that's something that people have been definitely asking them to pursue. Be really fun, like if monsters like in a group raid targeted based on defense. They do that like they tested it out with the Nightmare, right? Like if you're highest defense, you'll be the
Yeah.
tank. But then again, you're still just wearing a Bandos chest plate instead of a torso. So
Yeah, it's literally
It's-
it doesn't change anything. So.
no.
It's tricky. You make a good point about if they're worried about the range meta being stale, but they're buffing everything. When Raids 3 comes around, if it ever does, are we just gonna be back at square one, being like, how do we bring in new weapons? Well, I guess we'll have to see.
Yeah, but I imagine there's something in Raids 3 where like the tank, if you're chosen by the monster, it's invulnerable to you. But then you're responsible for keeping your teammates alive with your movement. Something like that
That'd
would
be
be
sick.
interesting to see.
There's so many cool things they could do if they really want to get creative with the boss mechanics. But
Yeah.
let's hope for it. But quickly before we do wrap up, speaking of boss mechanics, Theater of Blood is coming out next week, and the only reason I'm bringing this up is because I did not expect it to be released. And they announced it, it passed the poll, and now it's coming out.
Yeah.
And I don't know about you guys, I'm a little bit worried. I'm kind of worried because I feel like being on the podcast, it's a win-win. If it's great, awesome, we love it. If it's bad, we get to bitch and complain about it, which I
Yeah.
always love to do.
Yeah, we're good at that.
Yeah, but they talked about how they wanted to completely like overhaul the fight with new mechanics and stuff. And now with it being released so soon, I was like, is that even possible? With like, how have you been able to test it long enough, or are we just getting like a small thing changed? One thing they teased about on this stream, Mod Arcane talked about, was he didn't tease much, but he said one of the mechanics being added is something will be unkillable that was able to be killable beforehand.
Oh, it's definitely the purple Nilo. It's the purple Nilo, I'm almost sure.
Yeah, you think so?
The healing
Or the
Nilo?
Nilos that spawn at Versic. Yeah. It's going to be one of those, for sure.
One of
Here's-
them won't be able to be killed. Oof.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Like, if that's true, though, the monster that won't be killable is going to be one of the Nilocusts at Versic, either the purple one or the ones that chase you around in
And to
P3.
make P2 so much more chaotic, I think that's cool. Someone might even have
Here's-
to freeze. But like that's the only
I'm
joke.
like 99% sure this is what's going to happen, especially considering the fast turnaround. We talked about this for a brief part of last episode.
Mhm.
So I won't rehash it, but basically I'm of the camp, especially with the release date being so close to when they first announced that they were developing it. I'm pretty sure it's going to be very, very lazy in terms of new mechanics. And I think the way that Jagex like consults PVMers both in the company and like that they've gone to like streamers, for example, I feel like hard mode is just going to build on speed metas. So I think what's going to happen, for example, is I'm almost sure this is going to be one of the quote unquote new mechanics, but the tornado at the Soda Seg maze is going to go by way faster. which isn't a new mechanic. It's just like how fast are you able to speed through the maze.
It's another version of dialing up a monster's attack damage or health, basically.
Those are just my predictions. Like, I'll just give a quick blitz of what I think is going to come out. Maiden's going to throw more blood. Nilos at Maiden are going to have more health, and you're probably going to need like 2 people to chin the clump instead of 1. More meat is going to fall and bloat. I think the Nilo pillars are going to have less HP for Nilo waves. Sodaseg maze is going to go by faster, things like that. Whereas I wish it was more like the Nilos at Maiden like spawn at different points at the room and at different times. It's not just like 70, 50, 30 or whatever. Like bloat, they're going to make bloat turn more than once now per down or like more frequently. But I wish it was like meat stays where it landed. Things like that where it's, or if you get flied once, it keeps flying the whole team constantly until he goes down. So you're pretty much a death sentence if you even get flied once. Something like that where it's like actual new mechanics instead of what we're getting. Fingers crossed.
I could really see them adding just like a time thing to, like Magpie said, if you don't get to this room during this time, you lose 2 points from your chest. So you have less going forward. Stuff like that.
Or like an enraged timer where like after 2 minutes, the boss does more damage.
No, because in raids, because it's such a grueling raid for supplies, you usually you gain points in each room, and then there's a couple chests where you can buy supplies like brews and restores and fish and whatever, and stamina potions. So you're able to like tailor your layout for being able to purchase potions right before you go to Verzik or right before Zarpus, which takes no supplies itself. So I imagine like now you can, if you're too slow or make too many mistakes, you get punished even harder for that. Another like easy sort of thing they could do. But yeah, I don't know. There's lots of options. Cool to see when it comes out though.
Oh yeah, and it's coming out soon, so we'll get to see exactly how it's broken down. And Magpies, you can see if you were correct in your predictions.
Like you said, Dills, it's a win-win, because if my predictions don't come true, it means the content is good. If my predictions do come true, then I get to prove I'm always right. There's no losing for me.
That's true. Did you invest in like 43 scythes before they all went up in price with your bank value?
No, I don't have a 20 mil bank. Okay, I don't have the money to invest in 40 scythes, but
it's because the market's crashing. That's why.
Yeah,
that's why.
All right, so that all happened. All right, so there you have it. There's the news, and we'll see how Theater of Blood goes down on Thursday, because that's when it's coming out, not Wednesday this week. Let's take a quick break, and then we'll come back, and we've got a question regarding Ultimate Iron Man, and whether or not we're going to play it, and why or why not. So we'll be right back after this break. So yes, we are taking a break, and we're going to head over, or teleporting, or maybe taking a minecart. Does anyone even really take a minecart to the Grand Exchange? It's one of those teleports that I always forget even exists. We have too many teleports. Which is a weird problem to have, but that's okay. Yeah, so we're going to go over to the Grand Exchange, and we're going to talk about some different ways that you can support the show if you want to. And if you don't, that's cool. You can keep on listening, because I do appreciate all the support we get from our listeners either way. So first things first, if you want to support the show, you can head over to patreon.com/TheWildernessPodcast. There's some little rewards there that you might find beneficial. And if you do, maybe consider subscribing. We have a few different tiers. A lot of parts of this podcast were really outdated, and I didn't actually realize it. I just forgot to check it. So someone pointed out, so shout out to Dr. Feelgood, pointed out that the Apple description was still referencing me and Deegan when we used to do the Iron Man challenges back in like the first 10 episodes. So I spent like an hour trying to get into that account because it was a huge pain in the ass, because I don't really use Apple products, but I was on my PC, which is a Windows, of course, and when I tried to go on my Apple account, I needed to verify it by going on to a Apple device. So I had to use my girlfriend's MacBook. Huge pain in the ass. And anyways, I eventually was able to update it. So my point is, Patreon was a little bit outdated as well. So I took a look there, and I realized that we have to start if we had to freshen some of the stuff up. But anyways, I do a weekly. I don't do a weekly Q&A, but we kind of sit down and we watch the Jagex Q&A together, and it's just audio. So I know personally when I was listening to the Q&As, I'd watch them on Twitch, and they were a huge data and battery drain when you're watching video, but I was only listening to it, and so much buffering. It was kind of a pain in the ass. So I know that back then I wish I had an audio version of it, and this is a way for us, we sit down, we talk for a bit, we do a little pre-game, pre-show, pre-drinking, I don't know, whatever you want to do, whatever you want to call it. We do a little pre-hangout before the actual Q&A starts. We talk, and then we kind of watch the Q&A together, and I kind of ramble on top of it sometimes. I try not to make it too invasive, and then at the end we do a little wrap up and we just hang out. Sometimes I can't do them live, like right when the Q&A is happening, so I have to do it on Saturday morning, and honestly, I really like doing that. So I've been thinking it'd be cool to kind of start Saturdays and Sundays with maybe like a bonus episode of just me hanging out. We can give that to our Patreoners as I really like drinking my coffee and just kind of rambling on. It's kind of like what we're doing right now. So, sorry about that. You knew what you signed up for. Maybe you didn't, and in which case I apologize. Anyway, so some ideas there, but yeah, I freshened up the Patreon. So anyways, you might find some content there that you like, and if you don't, that's okay. Keep on listening for free anyways, because I appreciate all of the support through that means as well. So I want to welcome Mason S, Atomic Todd, Matiawas, and Szechuan for joining. I want to welcome them for joining. Welcome them to the Patreon Club. Thank you guys for the support. It means a lot. And anyone, if you guys have any ideas or have some suggestions on things that you might like to hear as a Patreon subscriber, let me know. I'm always open for some ideas. But of course, we like to dedicate every episode to a few of our supporters. So I want to dedicate this episode to Green Paper. And of course, this episode is also dedicated to our top tier supporters. So Aiden A, Genton New, Grunkle G, Splemo, Aldo P, Matiawas. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. If not, man, just let me know and I'll go back and I won't go back and fix it, but I will go forward and continue saying it properly. And also Szechuan. This episode is dedicated to you as well. And fun fact, you almost, I was talking to Szechuan a while ago, and you almost not convinced me, but you got me really hyped to get into DJing vinyl. So I was like looking up how much DJing equipment costs, and it can be like thousands of dollars. Oh boy, and I was like, I'm gonna do this. I'm 100% gonna do this. So I guess my father-in-law works at he works at a music store, so I was like asking him, yo, how much does this vinyl player cost, and how much does this mixer cost? And I'm like, it's like thousands of dollars. I don't have that money at all. But hey, you sign up to the Patreon, maybe you can help support the my DJing cause. No, not actually. I had to put that one on the back burner for a bit. It's funny. And of course, I do have to give a thank out to another one of our supporters, Mr. Uncle Kratos, because I mentioned I've been having computer problems, and some crazy computer problems. It was madness. I've been wanting to get these episodes out sooner, but I don't know what it was. I know what it is now. I'm pretty sure I know what it is. But I was just dealing with a whole whack of computer problems where my computer was nonstop crashing. I thought it was from a Windows update I did, and I guess it was a coincidence, because I did a Windows update, and then I just encountered all of these issues, and the issues would stop, and the computer would run fine for a couple days, and then, for instance, on Sunday, nonstop crashing. It would restart, and it would crash, restart, and it would crash, and I would do nothing. I would just sit there, wait for it to load. I had no idea what was going on. I tried literally all of Sunday. I was trying to figure out what the hell the problem was. And I ended up buying a USB drive because I was going to side load it, or I was trying to do a fresh install of Windows, which was also giving me an error every time I tried to do that. So, people recommended me getting a USB and boot it off the USB. So I ordered that, but before the USB came in, Uncle Kratos came in and he was like, it might be your RAM. You should test your RAM. And turns out one of my RAM sticks, that you can tell I'm not really super savvy when it comes to building computers, but my stick of RAM was pooched. One of them was pooched, and it was causing so many crashing errors. So I removed it, and man, here we are no crashes. So thank you for your help there. That's very appreciative. Okay. I'm sorry for rambling so much, because we can't stop here though. We have to thank our coffee buyers of the week. So thank you to Timbuk225, God of Thunder, Salamander, and Caradoc for buying me a coffee this week. I really, really appreciate that. All right, so let's get back to the show. We'll close things up, and guys, we're cutting it very close to Theater of Blood. Many of you who are listening to this, the Theater of Blood hard mode is already going to be out. So I can't wait to see how that one turns out. All right. Thanks again to everyone for supporting the show, and thank you for everyone who continues to listen every week. It means a lot. So sweet. Let's get back into the episode. All right, we're back, and we got an email from Dr. Feelgood, aka Mistborn, and he says, for some context, we have a few endgame Iron Man in the CC, and we also have some, endgame, or so we have some Ultimate Iron Man that play in the CC as well.
Yeah, one that recently joined. He's endgame for sure.
Yeah. So there's some really cool. We even have an Ultimate Iron Man that's a 10 health skiller. I don't know, skiller, is that what you want to call it?
Yeah.
He's pretty much a skiller. So anyway, some cool accounts there. But Dr. Feelgood says, and with Mudkip's Ultimate Iron Man series, I haven't seen it. Have you guys seen that?
Yep.
Is it good?
It's very good, yeah.
Oh, cool. I'll put it on the list. I'm so behind on my content creators, but... So he says, are you Heartless and Magpies ever tempted on making an Ultimate Iron Man? Aside from the huge time sink, is there anything that turns you off of that idea? Magpies, you want to take us away? What are your thoughts? Because you've always stuck with just the main account, right?
Yeah. Funnily enough, I do have a hardcore Iron Man. It's a very, very young account, and I realized very early on why I don't like playing these accounts. It's nothing against the gameplay loop or anything. It's a very simple response. I'm looking for more reasons to play the game less. I'm looking to spend less time on the game, not more. So,
fair.
An Iron Man is just like even more of a time sink, especially an Ultimate Iron Man. Even with that aside, I would probably not choose to go for an Ultimate Iron Man, just because there's rewarding gameplay loops like an Iron Man, and then there's like actual torture, which is like Ultimate Iron Man.
True.
I have a friend who's like a very, very high level Ultimate Iron Man, and like, for example, it takes him 30 minutes to switch activities. It takes him like 45 minutes in between raids and things like that, where once the novelty wears off, you kind of, it starts to get a little annoying unless you're incredibly invested in your account. And I've always been this is the one thing I've always been outspoken about the game. I don't like how invested some people can be in their accounts when it comes to old school. I don't like anything that kind of facilitates you being more invested into that than like actually real life beneficial stuff. So Ultimate Iron Man definitely have my respect for the grinds they do, but it's just not one for me.
That's fair. What about you, Heartless?
I find it's interesting. A thing about the Magpies made great points about it being a super time sink, and it's absolutely true. So as someone who's like sort of an end game regular Iron, like I had to jump through hoops for sure early game that would slow down my progress. But now that I'm at the end game, there's really not a whole lot of difference between me and a main. Besides the fact that I just can't go and buy the items. I just have to, go and get them, which is kind of fun. And that's the sort of the best part. And I feel like that's a reason like a lot of people start Iron Man, because they kind of want to be in this position where they have all the annoying stuff done, like their, years worth of herb runs and things like that. So I'm definitely reaping the rewards. But on an Ultimate, you definitely have to play like a minimalist style. And one of the attractions for regular Irons or hardcores, in my opinion, is collecting things and like having a cool collection log and, filling up your bank with all these different items that you maybe wouldn't get to use on a main. That you sort of have to toss that away, which makes it specifically a very unique challenge. So you have to decide what's important to you. I know we have Takate in the CC has a really sick ultimate with the 9kc twisted bow. But that, made him, he has to like adjust. He's got like 2k total or something. And he sent me a message like, oh, which items do you think I should keep? I was like, dude, I don't know. Because he's like deciding on the future between like a Zami top and a Carol's top. Like one of them is good for
Mm.
God Wars, but the other one's just great for bossing in general. So like, which one do you keep? You can only make that choice once because you're not likely to get it back, right? Without a significant grind. You know, should I drop my Tome of Fire? Should I alch my Dragonfire Shield? Those kind of things are like big choices you have to make on an ultimate, which make the gameplay like super cool. If you like puzzles and things like that, then I think it's for you. But like Magpie says, you really have to jump through a ton of hoops to get sort of far. I know a lot of people are attracted to like it's easy to get on the high scores too. You know, you do 50 Calphite Queen kills and you're like ranked 20 or something like that, just because it's essentially a dead game mode. Very, very few people play it.
The one amazing thing about the game mode is that, like you touched upon this, Heartless, so many Ultimate Iron Men have completely different playstyles and different choices and different like things that they get lucky on or dry on, to the point where every Ultimate Iron Man is different.
Mm-hmm.
And they make those decisions, and like their inventories and everything are completely different from one to another. Like, yeah, you're gonna have like, obviously a lot of them are gonna have similarities in terms of they're all obviously gonna have a rune pouch. They're going to probably have like a seed pack or whatever. Beyond that, like the decisions you make are really what like make an ultimate unique.
Yep. Sure.
I don't mean to like turn people off the game in general or anything and like make them rethink why they play old school, but for me, like, I'm just trying to sit down and explain, like, if you were to break it down to somebody like, oh, I spend like 30 minutes doing something that someone would spend like 2 minutes doing, and I'm like punishing myself over and over again just for the sake of my own enjoyment of this character. I personally wouldn't like to be held hostage to a virtual avatar like that too much. If you are, go for it. I'm just worried that, like, for example, one day I'll quit, one day the servers will be shut off permanently, one day Jagex will like kill the game or something, you know, one of those things, and then all of a sudden it's like, yes, those achievements still mean something to you, and yes, they're still very real, but I'm not the kind of guy who's just like grasping at achievements for the sake of like self-validation, if that makes sense. And I feel like a lot of niche accounts are based on that kind of like, I like doing this just because I want to be the person to do this, you know?
Fair enough.
It's funny. I find myself constantly in a paradox with like old school RuneScape, where I'm like, a lot of us will just say, oh, I mean, this game's going to be over one day. One day it's going to be gone and we can't play it anymore. I think a lot of us think that, even though this game's been going for 20 years, and I wouldn't be surprised if it's here forever now. But so it's easy to feel like all the time you invested in RuneScape is wasted because you can't go back to your character. All that's gone. All your kill count on a boss might be erased one day.
Yeah.
And then you're like, well, all I have is the memories, but what does that really matter? But I'm always in this paradox where I'm like, I want to go back and play more like PlayStation 4 games. There's so many games that I want to play, but I'm always playing RuneScape. And some of the games have like a richer storytelling experience or even like a gameplay loop. But there's so many games that I played, I had a fun time, and I don't even remember they exist, and I have no memory of myself playing them. If somebody mentions, hey, do you know this game? Do you remember Buck Bumble from when you were a kid? I'm like, oh, God,
what the
barely.
Hell is Buck Bumble? Wait, is that an actual game?
It's so sick. It's a game like nobody played from Nintendo 64, but it's so good. Go check out the music. Maybe I'll play the music. But it's so good. But there's so many games that I've played, and I just forget all my memory from playing that game. It doesn't exist. So like essentially, it's like a wasted time of my life because I didn't even retain any memories of the story of anything. And obviously, I can't come up with any examples because I can't remember them. But you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Whereas with RuneScape, I'm gonna have so many memories from this game forever now.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm always in this paradox.
Definitely
with RuneScape.
I feel like your argument against Ultimate Iron Man Magpies could be laid upon any account where you spend too much time on it, like Max Pet Hunters or, you know, Iron Men who are going for like huge collection logs. I mean, it can be sort of applied to any mode, but you're saying basically like Iron Man, Ultimate Iron Man, since it automatically will take you longer to do things, then that's the kind of person you are in a way. If you're attracted to the mode.
But I don't mean to like, don't get me wrong, memories are everything when it comes to old school. Like the reason why I came back to old school is to get more of the memories that I had. Like the only two games that I remember I can look back fondly and just like pinpoint specific memories and good moments for is RuneScape, the original RuneScape, and old school RuneScape. Those are the only two games where I can like say that. Oh, and maybe Rainbow Six Siege, because it's another game where it's like you make those memories with friends a little bit. But that's it. So I'm not saying memories are nothing. I'm actually saying like memories are everything.
Yeah.
And that's like, but ultimately that's all you have is the memories, right?
Yeah, one day. Yeah.
Yeah. I guess for me, it's just also the best memories that come out of old school are always like the social ones and ultimate
100%
Iron Man and to a lesser extent Iron Man game modes as well, but mostly like with the amount of individual grinds you have to do kind of takes away from your ability to do group content more. And you can do it with
I guess so.
Yeah.
I think it's just a different way to like express yourself through the game. And if you like really want to challenge yourself and sink a ton of time in, then it's good. But you're totally right, like social. Like looking back at playing League of Legends, I remember like a few very specific funny games where something crazy happened or I got tons of kills or we had a lot of fun, but it was always surrounded by people. And those were the things that brought the memories. Like, let's say I got 20 kills in the game and didn't die, but I was by myself. I don't remember that. I remember the time we did this crazy combo, and made it. Or I remember the late nights spending time with my friend grinding, trying to just climb up a few points on the ladder, stuff like that. Those were what stuck with me. Going to meet my friends in real life when we went to PAX West. Great memory. You're absolutely right. They're always focused on social things.
Yeah, totally. I think I can get it. I can totally understand the appeal of the Ultimate Iron Man, but yeah, I totally agree with you guys. Where like all my memories of RuneScape is the social aspect, and RuneScape really encourages that. Like one of my strongest memories of the game was there was someone in the clan chat. This is going way back. I can't even remember the name, so I feel bad. I don't think they're playing anymore, but him and his wife or his girlfriend had split up, and he had a new baby. He had a kid, but he also had a newborn. And he had custody of both the kids. What happened? The newborn ended up either throwing up or maybe like just pooping on his couch. And he was like panicking and didn't know what to do. And a bunch of people in the clan chat sat down like, oh, listen, we're all fathers here. We have all this experience. And they gave him a bunch of advice about it. I remember watching that being like, wow, that's really kind of wholesome. That's such a heartwarming thing to see. I can't remember what I was doing in game at the time. But I remember that. I remember watching that and being like, "Oh wow! Like this is such a. It's really cool to see somebody can come on with a very specific problem onto RuneScape instead of going to Reddit or going to whatever. You come onto RuneScape and you got people here who are gonna help you. Oh, and they were like, "Yeah, you want to use like vinegar. Like here are the things you want to use for your couch, not to ruin your couch, and also get the feces off of it." So it's like I remember seeing that. I was like, that was really cool. But I have tons of memories that are like very social like that. But wrapping back up to Ultimate Iron Man, the question with Ultimate Iron Man, I can totally get why people like it. The reason I think people love the Ultimate Iron Man mode is the reason why I don't like it. And it comes down to being like very strategic in your planning. And I'm not good at that. I always make mistakes. I always miss things. And with an Ultimate Iron Man, I would definitely regret it.
Can't skill hop either, like comfortable. Like Magpie says, it takes like half an hour to like rebag and get ready for Alk agility versus if you're wanting to just go do regular Slayer. It takes huge amounts of time.
And knowing me, if I were to get into Ultimate Iron Man, I would screw up and accidentally delete half my inventory that was held at Zulrah or held somewhere else because I forgot that it was there. Or I just did something else. I do that all the time. When I play a lot of games, I really like simulator games like City Skylines and RimWorld, where you're kind of
Love those games.
Yeah, you're kind of like building stuff or you're controlling these people to do these tasks. But all those games have an element where you can micromanage to like very specific details of what you want carried out or how you can improve stuff. And when it comes to having to do that, I'm never a big fan of it. I don't care. Like with RimWorld, there's like 20 different tasks, and you can kind of give you a check mark if you want your colonist to do that task or not. But if you want, you can turn on a mode so that you can micromanage and you can have tiers from 1 to 5, and you can click like, oh, I want him to focus on this, and when this is done, he's going to jump to this task. And you have a priority order. And the people who are really good at RimWorld and play on the hardest difficulty, you have to rely on that. And it's why I could never play on the hardest difficulty, because I just don't like having to plan that and micromanage it, because it's just, I don't know. I'm just not good at it, I guess. I find it stressful. And I love the idea of an Ultimate Iron Man. I love watching series and hearing people talk about it. But I don't think I could sit down at level 3 and plan out, oh, this will be my first goal.
Yeah.
Deegan loved that sort of stuff. He made a Obby Mauler. So like 1 attack, 99 strength. Anyways, he had planned his account out so specifically to the point where one of his goals was he had to go to the observatory quest, and you can get like 1 of 12 rewards from finishing that quest, but it's randomized. And he was like, I'm doing this quest, and if I get 1 of these rewards, I have to restart the account. And I was like, that sounds like terrible. But for him, he was like, no, I love that. That's exciting. Yeah. And he had to plan his account very specifically, because he was like, if I get too high of a range level, if I get too high of an HP level, I ruin the account that I have planned out. So he loved that. And I was like, that's really cool. But I know for myself, I would I wouldn't properly plan that out, and I would screw up, and I would just get mad. So that's why I don't do Ultimate Iron Man, because I would definitely screw up. I was playing on my Iron Man this week doing the observatory quest, and you have to get molten glass. I spent like an hour being like, okay, I have to go get seaweed and sand, and then I go get seaweed. Then I'm like, oh my God, how do I turn the seaweed into soda ash? Go on the wiki. I had to plan out like a very easy task that all Iron Man have to do, and even that I screwed up a bunch. I was doing it with my buddy on his normal account, and he was like, dude, hurry the fuck up. It's been like 30 minutes. And I was like, just go beat the quest. So even Iron Man is too much planning for me sometimes. It's fun. Anyways, that's a great question, because the Ultimate Iron Mode is such an interesting game mode. And I'm surprised people are into that, but I'm not surprised people are into that, but I'm surprised Jagex would be like, let's bring this game mode into the game.
It's true. Whoever came up with it is like a niche thing that somehow made its way into the game.
So yeah, there we go, guys. That was all the fun stuff. If you want to send any more emails or ask any questions like that, you can do that at going to TheWildernessPodcast@gmail.com. And actually, we did get a really cool email, guys. Somebody asked to collaborate with us.
Is it in game or?
I don't think it's in game.
Okay. I'll let you go.
It is Vietnam's only vegan animal rescue. What's up? They said, "Hey there, this is Adele speaking. They're the manager of it. They break down what they're all about. They say that they've been doing this in Vietnam for 8 years, and they said, would you be interested in interviewing our founder? They love the show. They love this podcast so much, and they think that it would be a good fit for an episode."
Okay.
Okay.
There you have it. They listen to the RuneScape podcast and they say, "Cat Rescue, let's bring it on here."
You think that is the person who owns the vegan-only Ultimate Iron Man?
Is there a vegan-only Ultimate Iron Man?
Or like a vegan-only Iron Man where they can't eat anything with meat? Yeah, it's really funny.
Ooh, that's tricky.
I see it pop up once in a while. Like summer pies or endgame for sure.
Could you consume a Sarah brew? Because it's not really an animal.
You see, this is the question. This is the philosophical question. Can you?
It's made out of birds' nests.
Wear leather shoes? Yeah, because it's made of a crushed bird's nest.
Wait, that's an animal product. You can't use that.
Yeah, I don't think you can. I think if you're by the book, you can't do it.
Yeah, there it is. Okay, so that's tough. Anyways, I'm gonna have to pass on that one. I don't know if you guys want to take that interview.
I'm good, but that's cool.
Honestly, I thought you were like reading off an email that was sent to like the wrong email or the wrong podcast, or maybe like a joke email. But if they're sincere and they're actually like fans of the podcast,
did they say fans of the podcast or fans of the Wilderness podcast?
They said they said, "I love your work, and we think we would be a great fit as an intersectional abolitionist organization in a country where that's practically non-existent."
Okay, so most likely they emailed the 20 different first podcasts that they found.
I don't know. We're BCC'd on it, and that usually means that they're specifically targeting. No, that doesn't mean that. Usually means there's probably 1,000 other podcasts getting hit up.
Yeah, I feel like there'd be specific information if it was serious, but like I loved your 3-tick chinning guide on the Wilderness Podcast.
We should do it and just like start talking about like in-game areas as if they were.
What do you thought about? Yeah, thoughts on Gertrude?
Yeah.
Yeah, like, so we know you're like abolitionist and pro-cats, but what do you think about like the West Ardoin controversy? Like, do you think the politics of the situation there are going to improve at all? Like,
what are your thoughts on people actually buying cats for death runes? They'd be like, this needs to end.
What are your thoughts on Chinchompa hunting? Yeah, there's lots of things you can do. That's pretty funny.
Oh boy. All right. But yeah, thewilderness.podcast@gmail.com is where you can send that. So yeah, thank you for that email, Mr. Cat Bush is their name, by the way. Sounds fake.
This is actually so hilarious, Dills. I thought you were serious at first too, so
you guys got to see the email. I'll send it to you. It is
all right. So yeah, forward it to us. I'd love to see it.
That sounds like a euphemism. Cat bush.
Cat bush.
Oh boy. Guys, we have a clan chat still. Well, I guess it's a friends chat now called Wild CC, where I don't really know what we're gonna do with that, but it's still there, and a lot of us are still hanging out there.
I was told to specifically say this by Koss, because he said when he first tried to find the CC, he kept typing in wild CC, but he didn't realize there was a space between wild and CC. But
I think it's in the show notes, though, isn't it? The name of the CC?
It's in the show notes.
I've made my point. I was asked to do it, and I did so. We move on now.
It's okay.
Surely you would have tried space at one point.
I'll always remember this. His name was Negus. I went into the Dills clan chat, and he was sitting in there, and he'd been sitting in there for weeks, he said. And he thought this was the podcast clan chat all by himself.
That's hilarious.
I went in there because
so lonely.
Somebody else went in. I forget. Somebody was like, yeah, something about the Dills thing. I was like, oh, true, I should probably fix that. And I went there and I'm like, what are you doing here? And he's like, isn't this for the podcast? No. Yeah. That's funny. But yeah, we also have a clan called Clan Wild, which is pretty wild if I should say so myself. It's a pretty cool name. But yeah, you can join the clan if you want. And we got it's an actual clan now. How exciting is that? Very cool.
We're diversifying. We're expanding.
That's right. We're going to take over all of RuneScape one day.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're missing. Oh yeah, if you want to join the Discord, there is the link in this description. Otherwise, you can go to Twitter if that's your thing, at TheWildernessRS. I stream on Twitch very, very rarely and irregularly. I haven't had any time this whole month, but you can do that twitch.tv/thedills if that's your thing. And I think that's it. You guys have anything you want to plug out there?
Nope.
Okay. All right. Well, there it is. Song of the week. Oh, I think we got to do the, what is it called? Clan? Let's do the clanliness for the song of the week. Or should we do Rhapsody?
Your choice.
You played Rhapsody earlier. Let's do
clanliness.
Let's do clanliness now.
Cool. So yeah, this is the song that unlocks when you enter the clan hall. But if you want to get Rhapsody, you have to go to the piano and click play that specific song. So very cool stuff. All right. Guys, we'll see you on the next one, and we get to make your predictions. Are we going to be happy or mad about Theater of Blood? We'll find out.
Take it easy.
See ya.
Toodaloo.